Welcome, Zellerman agents. Today in training, we're going to talk about FMLS form RE158, and that is the seller's authorization to show property without a listing. What does that mean? If you're going to sell a by-owner property or one that's not on the market, they don't want to sign a listing agreement with you for whatever reason, or have not, but you'd still like to show their property, you need permission to show. If you want to get paid, you need permission really in writing. This protects you, protects the seller, and protects your client. Okay? This is why this form is here, so use it. So now let's take a look inside RE158. You'll notice, just like with all our forms, at the top is the date. Day, month, and year. This is going to be between the seller. So whoever the seller is, and make sure you look up their tax records so that the appropriate parties are selling. If there's two names, you need two names on the contract. If it's just one name, you just need one name. So let's say it's John Smith is the seller. Alright, and it's between our brokerage, Zellerman. Property located is in Fulton County. And here you put 123 Maple Street, okay? And you can put Atlanta, Georgia. Alright. This gives us the power. So how long do we want the term of this to last? If I'm only going to show this to this client one day, you could have it as little as one day because there's a protective period. But it does make sense to inform the seller that, hey, look, they may like your house, but they may not tell you exactly that day. So I would like permission to work with you and this client over the next 20 days, right, to see if we can produce a deal. This is non-exclusive, so they can have a brokerage agreement with any other broker if they want. They can show and sell the house on their own without owning a thing. This only pertains to the client on the form, so they are protected. So let's say today is July 20th, and let's say we're going to make this good until both parties agree, let's just say August 1st, okay? And let's say this house is selling for $550. Alright? Fill in all this information right here you get from the tax records. Before you go meet someone, like this, a seller, generally you would discuss it with them on the phone. It may be a buy owner because you haven't met with them in person, and just have a conversation with them. You are doing a good thing by possibly bringing them a buyer. There may be a reason they don't want to list with a broker. Don't push that, but just say, hey, look, I've got an interested buyer. I would love to show your house. I would need permission from you before I do so. And then kind of explain the situation and explain how you get paid. In fact, I would even say, look, if our buyer, we have a brokerage buyer agreement, they are obligated for our time to pay us at least 3%. Would you be willing to pay us? You could say 4%, you can say 3%, whatever you feel is right in this situation. At minimum 3% to cover his cost if he does buy it at a price that's acceptable to you. Right? So right here, and most of the time buy owners would say absolutely, because in reality you're saving them half the commission or more, and you're bringing them a buyer. And if they say no, absolutely not, we don't want to deal with agents, then that may be their loss. But if most people you'll find are willing to deal if you have a buyer, and a real buyer. So you've already filled out this property information based on the tax records. These disclosures are our standard disclosures you're familiar with. If you're not, go back to Form RE150. Independent contractor, this is saying by no means are the seller employing us. We are not employee of the seller. We are independent contractor, and this is an independent contractor relationship that this contract defines. Buyer's prospects. Here's where you put your buyer. If you have multiple buyers, put their names here. 4 or 5 buyers, right? If you're going to show that many people over the course of from July 20th to August 1st. Why do I need those buyers' names there? Because look, well, you'll see in a minute, there's a protection period. That if those buyers you have listed here buy during this period are, let's say, 30 days after, you'll still get paid. So here's our broker's conversation. Let's say we get the buy owner to agree that they'll pay us 4%, which is not unreasonable, because let me just tell you, when you're working with the buy owner, there is more work to do if there's not an agent helping them. You have to walk them through everything, and though you treat them like a customer, it is a lot more work on your end. Because not only do you represent the buyer and his interest, now you've got to walk through the owner and tell them every form to fill out. You have to get them to agree to everything. And all along, usually buy owners are a little, probably have had a bad experience before with an agent, and that's why they have not listed. So a lot of times you'll find they're suspicious. Many times for no reason. You could be the best agent in the world, but somehow they had a rotten agent before, so now they're going to be suspicious. So you're going to have to spend a lot of time really explaining things, getting the closing attorney on the phone. They're going to have to explain things. So if you charge them 4%, I guarantee you you'll be worth every penny of that and more. So if you just go with 3, you're going to be sorry, but get what you can. But I'm just telling you, working with a buy owner can be difficult, just because they've probably had a bad experience with the agent in the past, and there's no one representing them to help them through the process. That's the problem. Alright, so not to harp on that too long, you'll find out on that for yourself if you don't already know. And I could do an hour-long conversation on why you should never sell by owner, but that's a whole different story. But this is just in reference to someone that is selling by owner on getting through the door. So let's say they quoted us the price of $550. All right. So $550,000. They're going to pay us 4% of that. And we're going to put a protection period of 60 days following our August 1st date, or 2 months after, if any of those buyers happen to purchase the home after we're out of the field. We'll still get paid the 4% for bringing the buyer to the seller. Again, the miscellaneous states that this contract is under Georgia laws. Time is of the essence. Our standard disclosures here on our contracts. And then you sign. The agent, you'll sign right here, and the seller will sign right here. Make sure you have the seller's email address and address. Any legal notification we can send him via the email on this form. Okay, that is it for this form. Once you have this form filled out, you have a non-exclusive, basically showing agreement with the seller that allows you to show your house during this period and get paid. It does not allow you to list their home. It does not allow you to advertise their home as far as mass media, but it does allow you to advertise it to your clients in a sense that you can show it. And if you show it and sell it and they give a price, you will get paid. So that is how you properly contract with a buy owner to ensure that all parties are protected. Any questions? Ask your broker.